I know you want to drive your dream car, but how do you get the funds necessary to get that dream car you've always wanted in your garage? I'm gonna share 9 practical ways to get that dream car you've always wanted, no matter how much it costs. And make sure to stay to the end, because you might not have thought of this last one quite this way. Depreciation is your friend. It's the best way to get into something like a Porsche 911 or a Corvette, as long as they aren't the very exclusive models. Now, you won't get the latest and greatest car, you'll get something that's older, but obviously it's not gonna be the fastest or have the same quality materials as some of the latest cars. But by buying a car that's already taken the depreciation hit, someone else lost that money, not you. Sure, the car might be 15 or 20 years old, but you'll end up with a more vintage driving experience, which actually is something kind of special. Now, one caveat to this is some cars simply don't depreciate. These would be special low production cars such as the Ferrari and the Ford GT. The recent used car market hasn't helped things depreciate like they normally would, and we're finding used cars in the sports car market in particular growing at an extremely fast rate. Of course, inflation doesn't help any of this, as your dollar is simply worth a lot less than it used to be. But the good news is there are signs that the market may be slowing and depreciation may be going back to its normal form. In fact, Doug DeMuro, that runs Cars and Bids, as well as a popular YouTube channel, has stated that he's been having to tell sellers to set lower reserves, as otherwise their cars just aren't moving as fast. Now, depreciation is a great advantage, but this next topic can help you get into a much more expensive dream car. One of the fastest ways to increase the amount of money you get is multiple passive streams of income. Some examples of that might be a YouTube channel, an Amazon store, or affiliate marketing. The thing to do is to focus on one income stream at a time and really get that one working so that you don't have to babysit it anymore. Once you get to there, you just go on to the next one and the next one, rinse and repeat. Now, initially, this is going to take a lot of time and effort and you're not going to get a lot of return. But over time, if you keep working on it, it can make a very sustainable income. And it can also put you in a position to better weather any storm that might come financially. Multiple passive income streams can really help supercharge how much money you're making. But next, we're going to talk about a way to bring in extra cash while also reducing a major living expense. Housing is definitely the biggest expense for most people. One way to reduce this expense is to buy a multifamily unit. This could be something like an apartment house, a duplex, or even some house with mother-in-law quarters with a separate entrance. Depending on the unit and how many renters you can take in, this potentially can cover the mortgage and any upkeep and repair costs that might incur, as well with potentially giving you extra income along the way. Doing this, you just need to go in with your eyes wide open, as you could end up with a bad tenant, some unexpected repair, or you may have to go a month or two without rent. But as long as you plan well, this is a great way to take in extra income while taking away your mortgage expense. Real estate investing can really pay off, but this next way of making your money grow can be started now. Investing wisely in the stock market can make your money grow much faster than any savings account. Historically, the stock market growth is 10%. If you check your savings account right now, you're going to notice you're nowhere near 10%. If your employer has a 401k plan and they contribute to it, I highly recommend you max that out and get all that free money to help your retirement. The next way to invest that's good to look into is a Roth IRA. It's a great way to make sure that you're not taxed later as you take out money. The problem with these is you have to wait till you're in your late 50s to take money out if you don't want a tax penalty, with a few exceptions. So if you're hoping to have your money grow for something like a supercar very quickly, I would look at an ETF. It offers you in a way of investing in a bunch of stocks similar to like a mutual fund. And as long as you hold on to these investments for over a year, the amount that you're going to pay in taxes is a lot less percentage-wise than it would be if you sold it in less than a year. With any kind of investment advice, talk to a financial expert that you trust and don't just listen to some guy like me on the internet. But I do recommend that whatever you invest in what you know. For me, since I like cars and since my day job's in technology, I have a lot of stocks in companies that are in technology and the automotive field. No matter which way the market goes, whether it's up or down, consistently investing your money into the market is a great way to see exponential growth. Now, stock market investing can make your money grow very quickly, but this next method can make some serious cash in a more fun way. Depending on what you buy, if you get a collectible, it can provide a lot of return on your investment. The downside with collectibles is you can end up spending a lot more than you're going to get out of it if you don't buy what someone's going to want later on, and you have to predict the future. Because of this, if you're going to get into collecting, I highly recommend collecting something that is less expensive. Examples of less expensive collectibles would be something like Hot Wheel cars or baseball cards. For example, when I was younger, I collected baseball cards and I happen to have a Derek Jeter rookie card. Now, mine hasn't been graded and may not be worth as much as some others, but I've seen people trying to get as much as $25,000 for this card, which would pay for every single card I've ever bought. Of course, there is the process of having to get it graded and finding the right buyer that wants to spend that much. Plus, collectibles can be time consuming to sell when you want to get the money back. But if you enjoy it, it can be a fun hobby and it can also make you some serious cash. Collectibles are a fun way to make your money grow, but this next topic will have the car lover in you more excited probably than any collectible. Some people have managed to sell and trade cars and move all the way up to a much more expensive car. Essentially a real life version of wheeler dealers. The idea is simple. You buy a car that needs a little bit of work, you go put in that work, you fix whatever's wrong with it, add in a good cleaning and a great detailing, and then you go on and you sell it for a profit. You then do this over and over again, each time buying a slightly nicer car as you move up the car ladder. Now, one downside to this is it does require some decent mechanical skills. And if you aren't mechanically inclined, or if your wife is not going to be happy about having a car in the garage that may not run very well, it may not be the best option for you. Moving up the car ladder can be a ton of fun, but this next method is guaranteed to keep more money in your pocket. Living below your means gives you more money to invest in other things and watch that money grow faster. Now, with our current high inflation, it is a bit harder to live below your means for most people. But the first thing I would recommend doing is make a budget and see what you're spending extra things on. Are you going out to eat a lot? Are you paying a lot in car repairs? Do you have a gardener? Whatever it is, if it's something that you can do yourself, you're probably going to end up spending a lot less money. If you make your own meals, you don't go out for expensive coffee, that's all money that you're saving towards your dream car. Now, this can be very hard and most people don't want to do it, and that's why most people don't do it. But living below your means is one of the greatest tools outside of raising your income to getting into your dream car faster. Living below your means can be very hard, but is very rewarding in the long run. And this next topic will help supercharge your available cash. Now, debt can be used for good if you know how to use it. There have been people who have racked up airline miles on credit cards and traveled across the world. Unfortunately, most people simply can't control their credit usage, and because of that, they end up in large credit card debt. And the more you're buried in credit card debt, the harder it is to get out of and the harder it is to start investing. So you want to avoid bad debt like credit card debt. Some other debt might be a good debt like a mortgage where you have some value in that house. Especially credit card debt, which often has a very high interest rate. You're paying a lot more back for what you're borrowing to buy whatever it is you bought. Not using credit card debt also goes hand in hand with living below your means. If you're living below your means, you're probably not getting into credit card debt because you're not buying extra things that you just want. Debt can make you feel like you're sinking, but that isn't the end of the story. And this next method can use debt to get you into your dream car. Whenever you buy a car, always finance that car. Never pay cash. I know Dave Ramsey doesn't agree with that, but here's the reason. If you're buying a higher end car and you have good credit, then you're going to get a very low interest rate on that car. This is where putting your money to work for you can come in. So if I am paying a lower interest rate and I can invest money that otherwise would be tied up in a car in something that has a higher rate of return, such as the stock market, as long as we're making wise decisions there, it can be financially beneficial to owe on a car. Plus, if you use it for a business, you might be able to use it as a tax write-off, which then makes it basically driving it for free, as long as you pay enough in taxes. And that's with the higher price dream car. Now, let's say you have a more attainable dream car, something like a 996 or 997, 911. With those cars, you can use financing to help you get a better price. Dealers will often lower the price, but then extend the terms, raise the interest rates, things like that in the financing to make up for the difference so you are happy. I used this when I purchased my 1999 Porsche 996, and that's how I was able to buy it for only $12,500. If you do this method, you do want to pay it off early. So this would be if you have the cash or almost all the cash to buy the car, you finance it, you don't care what the interest rate, you don't care what the term is, because you're going to pay it off early. You just need to make sure there's no prepayment penalty. I always ask, if I get an extra $100 or something, can I put it on it without a prepayment penalty? And they're like, yeah. And then after you purchase the car, go ahead and pay it off, because dealers won't give you as good a deal if they know you are paying cash. Cash used to be king, not anymore. Financing can help you out if used correctly, but can these steps help you even if you want to get one of the more expensive exotic cars? And the answer is yes. Any dream car can be yours. You just need to be patient. You need to be willing to sacrifice, but every time you're sacrificing and you're waiting, you are building more and more wealth. And in the end, you end up in whatever your dream car is because you were patient, because you sacrificed. And that will make driving it even more special because it wasn't given to you. It wasn't just like you won the lottery and yeah, I got a Lamborghini. The thing is, once you have enough money to buy your dream car, you want to get the best possible price for whatever that car is. So check out this video to see why you might be able to get a really good deal on a Dodge Viper very soon.